On my birthday, my boss's son called me into his office and said, "Here's my surprise for you, you're fired." I left quietly without making a scene. Then told IT to my new husband. WHO just smiled. 4 hours later, panic broke out, 98 missed phone calls. "Here's my surprise for you. You're fired. Effective immediately." That sentence should have shattered me. But instead, as I stood frozen in my boss's son's glass office, surrounded by fake birthday decorations and a stale chocolate cake no one touched, all I could feel was stillness, a cold, clean pause. He said it with a smirk, as if he'd just gifted me a designer purse. "Go ahead and pack your things, Jesse. We'll have IT revoke your access in 10. I nodded once. No arguments, no tears, just quiet. I turned, walked past the stunned receptionist who blinked as if unsure whether this was some cruel office prank, and stepped into the elevator without looking back. The metal doors closed. My reflection stared back at me. Today was my 35th birthday. It had started so differently. My husband, Noah, had made me coffee at 6:30 a.m., singing happy birthday off-key while our 2 rescue dogs danced around our feet. He kissed my forehead and said, "Just get through work. Then the real birthday begins." That morning, I thought the real birthday meant dinner reservations or maybe a surprise weekend getaway. Turns out, it was something entirely different. Now, sitting in the driver's seat of my car, my work badge still dangling from my rearview mirror, I called Noah. He picked up on the first ring. "Happy birthday, baby," he said cheerfully. "What time should I pick you up?" "I'm already out," I replied quietly. "I got fired." Silence. "Then today?" 10 minutes ago." A pause. "Was it Darren?" "Yes." Another pause. Then Noah chuckled, not with amusement, but with a strange sense of knowing. "Good," he said. I blinked. "Good?" He exhaled. "Jess, we talked about this. You were never safe there. You knew it. I knew it. You were carrying that company on your back while Darren played executive cosplay." He wasn't wrong. I had joined Everland Homes 5 years ago, when it was a small but respected architectural firm known for its integrity and clean designs. I was brought in as a senior planner, but within a year, I'd modernized their project flow, integrated safety and compliance across all departments, and saved the company hundreds of thousands in failed inspections. When Gregory, the original CEO and Darren's father, was in charge, I was respected, promoted, heard. Then came Gregory's stroke, and Darren, the son with a business degree and a trust fund, was groomed to take over. In less than 6 months, he'd cut the legal review team, hired a PR agency no one needed, and turned my department into his personal scapegoat. He forgot to invite me to key meetings, claimed my reports were too technical. And now, on my birthday, he gave me the final gift, termination. By the time I got home, Noah had already changed out of his work clothes. He was standing in the kitchen with 2 glasses of champagne. "What's this?" I asked, setting down my keys. He smiled. "To endings." I blinked. "And to what happens 4 hours from now," he added, clinking his glass against mine. "Noah, what are you talking about?" He didn't answer. He just kissed my cheek and said, "Just trust me." 3 hours and 46 minutes later, my phone buzzed on the couch beside me. Missed call. Then another. Then 5 more. By the time I glanced at the screen, it showed 98 missed calls. Every single one from Everland, the office manager, 3 department heads, even Darren himself. And just like that, I realized something. This wasn't just a firing. This was a mistake. One they couldn't afford to make. Before I tell you what happened next, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Many viewers follow these stories and forget to hit the bell. And trust me, the way this unfolds, you won't want to miss the next part. Back to the story. That night, as Noah and I sat under string lights in our backyard, he finally explained what he'd known for weeks. "Darren approved the Ridgeview deal last Friday," he said. "And he submitted plans under your name, but he altered your original designs." My stomach dropped. "Noah, that's illegal." He nodded. "And dangerous." My hands trembled. Ridgeview was a $22 million housing development. 1 structural flaw, 1 missed code, and he forged your sign-off, Jess. That's when it hit me. By firing me, Darren hadn't just rid himself of someone competent. He'd erased the only person who could defend what came next. And that, I realized, wasn't the end of my story. It was just the beginning. I barely slept that night. Not from grief or anxiety, but from the sheer rage of what I'd just learned. Fired on my birthday. Yes. But more than that, used. My name. My credentials. My reputation. All weaponized by a man who couldn't design a fire escape without consulting YouTube. Darren had forged my approval on the Ridgeview development plans. And now, with me out of the picture, no one was left to answer questions when things went wrong, because trust me, they would go wrong. The Ridgeview project had been my baby. I spent 6 months refining those plans, making sure every elevation, every code spec, every material choice was flawless. I knew the soil grades. I'd walked the site myself. I'd flagged the unstable perimeter wall that Darren insisted was just cosmetic. So when Noah showed me the submitted blueprints that night, stamped with my digital signature but missing key safety features I'd fought to include, I knew exactly what had happened. Darren had stripped my version down to something cheaper, faster, and more dangerous. He thought no one would notice, and then he fired me, probably hoping I'd vanish quietly, with no reason to ever look back. By 8 a.m. the next morning, my phone had racked up 119 missed calls. The latest voicemail was from Susan, the compliance officer. "Jesse, I don't know what's going on, but we can't access the Ridgeview system files. It keeps asking for the primary architect override. He's panicking. Please call me back. Please." I didn't call back. Instead, I sent a single text to Susan. "Speak to your legal team before contacting me again. This message will be saved." Then I picked up my bag, slid my laptop inside, and turned to Noah. "I need a favor." He raised an eyebrow. "I need a meeting with someone high enough to take this seriously. The Ridgeview contract was submitted to the city. Who handles post-approval compliance checks?" Noah didn't even blink. "My boss, Gina. I'll call her." 2 hours later, I sat across from Gina Montoya in a quiet conference room at the Department of Urban Development. A sharp woman in her early 50s, with clear glasses and a no-nonsense attitude. I laid out everything: the original Ridgeview plans, my actual version, Darren's altered submission, the forged timestamp from my login credentials, which I proved had occurred while I was on vacation 3 weeks prior. Gina didn't interrupt once. She just took notes, nodded slowly, and finally said, "Jesse, what you're showing me isn't just unethical. It's criminal. If those homes were built with these specs and something failed, families could die." "I know," I said flatly. She tapped her pen against the folder. "I'm going to flag the Ridgeview permit for emergency review. And you're going to need legal representation. If your name was forged, you're not responsible. But the optics could get messy." I nodded. "I'm ready." Back at home, Noah handed me a printed email. Subject: Urgent, Jesse. From Gregory R. Langford, founder and former CEO, Everland Homes. I hadn't spoken to Gregory since his stroke the previous year. We'd exchanged a few polite texts during his recovery, but he hadn't been involved in day-to-day operations since Darren took over. Noah read my hesitation. "You should talk to him," he said quietly. "He's not like Darren." So I called. "Jesse," Gregory's voice rasped through the line, weaker than I remembered, but still sharp. "What happened?" "You mean besides being fired illegally and having my signature forged on $1 million project?" Silence. Then softly, "I'm sorry. I never should have handed him control." I let the silence hang before replying. "It's done now. Can you meet me?" "I'm not interested in coming back, Gregory. I'm not asking you to. I just need to talk."